So confident. What would you say about that? Do you have insecurities?
How come nobody's calling?
What happens to the stars of a show that defined an entire generation? After the spotlight fades, 1 minute, they're living larger than life on screens across the world, caught in betrayal, wealth, and power plays. The moment when a seemingly ordinary oil tycoon was left reeling from a sudden attack. That mystery wouldn't be solved for 8 agonizing months. That suspense sent nearly 90 million Americans to the edge of their seats in 1980, and it still echoes today. What if I told you that Spark ignited something far bigger than any weekly soap? Welcome to the hidden world behind Dallas, where ambition, betrayal, and legacy collide in a saga stranger than fiction. Picture Fort Worth, Texas, September 1931. A baby boy arrives, decades before primetime drama would reshape television. At 47, Larry Hagman stepped into the role of J.R. Ewing, and almost immediately, viewers recognized they were witnessing a defining moment in TV history. His performance became a force of nature. By the time he landed that iconic green Mercedes and the notorious license plate EWING3, J.R. Ewing didn't just live in millions of living rooms, he lived inside them. His schemes, his swagger, that sinister laugh, he was the face of a new kind of villain, shaping how we watch prestige dramas even today. But the man behind the legend had chapters most never saw. Hagman's life off camera was marked by resilience. A heavy drinker in his youth, he faced cirrhosis in 1992 and bravely rebuilt his health after a liver transplant. When the world watched JR's empire crumble and rise again, Hagman was living proof that some battles were far more personal. He returned for cameos on Desperate Housewives and even reprised JR in TNT's 2012 revival, though fate dealt its final blow. He passed away later that year at 81 from complications with cancer. His family said goodbye in Dallas, full circle, on his own turf. But his legacy? It's immortal. TV Guide later crowned JR the greatest TV character ever. Enter Barbara Belle Geddes, born 1922 in New York City, a theater-trained powerhouse who introduced us to Miss Ellie Ewing, the backbone of the South Fork clan. When she joined Dallas in 1978 at age 55, the show found its emotional anchor. She carried personal heartbreak into her role. Having endured a mastectomy in 1971, she brought raw authenticity to Ellie's own scare, earning an Emmy in the process. Geddes wasn't just acting. She was speaking truth through melody of pain and protection. And yet, behind that steely facade was a heart that fought battles both public and private. When illness sidelined her in Season 7, she returned to South Fork with the same grace that had carried her through Broadway and Hollywood before. She stepped away from the spotlight in 1990, penned children's books, and passed away in 2005 at age 82. The world lost a legend, but the memory of Miss Ellie remains indelible. A cornerstone of family drama with genuine emotional weight. Then there's Jim Davis, born 1909 in rugged Missouri, who bore the role of Jock Ewing like a weathered oak shields the forest. At 69, Davis breathed life into the patriarch whose legacy still defines legacy. But real life had a different script. In April 1981, at only 71, he died from cancer mid-season. His exit forced an unforgettable twist in the show, and fans felt the loss as deeply as the cast does today. Jock's void echoed far beyond prime time. Fast forward to a familiar face in that eternal rivalry, Ken Kercheval, born 1935 in Indiana. When he joined as Cliff Barnes at 43, he became JR's foil, with equal parts charm and vengeance. Fans tuned in year after year to follow their battle, making Cliff essential to the drama's pulse. Kercheval battled lung cancer in the mid-90s, yet still returned to the revival before passing in 2019 at 83. His legacy lingers in every calculated smirk and seething confrontation. Howard Keel, born 1919 in Illinois, brought a different energy when he arrived at 62 as Clayton Farlow. Romantic interests, baritone voice, and rugged charm rolling into Season 4. A celebrated musical star before South Fork, he gave Dallas a deeper emotional thread. Diagnosed with colon cancer late in life, he passed in 2004 at 85, leaving behind a body of work that spanned decades and genres. His presence reminded viewers that even amidst scandal, some moments shimmer in pure human warmth. Then there's George Kennedy, born 1925 in New York City, a towering presence from the Guns of Navarre to Cool Hand Luke. At 63, he joined Dallas as Carter McKay in 1988, a villain with depth, a man shaped by cinematic gravitas. His departure in 2016 at 91 from Heart Issues felt like the final note in an orchestral career. Yet his shadow lingers, where film and TV meet in bold relief. Morgan Woodward, born 1925 in Fort Worth, felt like Dallas in flesh and blood. At 53, he became Punk Anderson, the epitome of loyalty and grit. His career spanned 6 decades, yet every time he appeared screenside, the room seemed more alive. When he passed in 2019 at 93 of natural causes, it felt like South Fork dimmed its lights just a bit. That leads us to a lesser-told story. Daniel Pon, born 1949 in Montreal, who appeared in the show's later years. His path didn't command headlines like the Ewings, but his inclusion represents the evolving tapestry of Dallas. His journey reminds us that every face, hero or supporting, shaped the show's sprawling mythos. By blending these personal journeys with fresh layers, like the reunion of cast members in 2004, 2018, and again in 2023 to mark milestones, you get a fuller picture of a show that didn't just air stories, it wrote history. 20 years after it premiered, TNT brought it back for 3 seasons, paying homage while risking a shadow that only the original can cast. That revival bowed out in 2014, leaving echoes of JR's ghost, but reminding us that some legacies are forever. So why do we still rewind Dallas episodes today? Because it pioneered the art of the cliffhanger. Who Shot JR became a cultural pulse that ran deeper than any primetime show since. That storytelling device still powers prestige hits like Succession and Yellowstone. Yet, beyond the glitz, these actors carried real lives, triumphs and heartbreak intertwined, confronting cancer, loss, and reinvention over decades, on and off camera. And here's the hook. Behind every glamorous reunion clip, behind the South Fork gates, lies a tapestry of personal sacrifice, triumph, and invisibly shifting power. These weren't just characters, they were reflections of human ambition, resilience, and legacy. Their stories demand to be told again, because they speak to something timeless in all of us. Just as the dust settled on the original Ewing legacy, a fresh wave of personalities stepped into the picture and changed everything in ways we never expected. When Daniel Pon arrived in 1981 as Ronaldo Marquetta, nobody knew he'd carve a niche of his own. At 31, he introduced a new spark, giving Dallas emotional texture beyond oil and power plays. His return in reunion specials reminds us that even shadowy figures can linger in the cultural memory, stirring curiosity about what those side stories really meant. Then there's Patrick Duffy, born in 1949 in rural Montana, who, at 29, emerged on screen as Bobby Ewing, the youthful antithesis to JR's scheming. His character became the heart of Dallas, representing everything the narrative needed: kindness, strength, and unwavering integrity. Here's the hook. Decades later, that same actor remains vibrantly active, proving the endurance of that role. At 76, he's still working, honored in Ireland as guest of honor, tracing his ancestry, and celebrating his birthday on stage with a cake surprise amid cheers in Dublin on .mediamass.net, +6independent.ie, +6n.wikipedia.org, +6. But that's more than nostalgia. It's proof that the Dallas spirit still pulses today. And dear viewer, you may not realize that Duffy's legacy extends far beyond South Fork. He's directed over 30 episodes of the original series, carved a path on Step by Step, and even earned soap opera acclaim on The Bold and the Beautiful as recently as 2023 People.com, +2en wikipedia.org, +2people.com, +2. Curious yet? You'll love what unfolds when we hit emotional scenes in Part 3. Let's turn to Linda Gray, born in Santa Monica in 1940, and cast as Sue Ellen at age 38. She brought raw complexity to a character torn between power and pain, earning awards and setting the stage for modern anti-heroes. Even in the recent reunions, with immersive celebrations in 2023, Gray reminds us that Sue Ellen's struggles defined a new template for TV drama. Her performance still drives comparison to modern characters like those in Succession. Then came Victoria Principal, born in Japan in 1950, stepping into Pamela Barnes at age 28. That choice defined a generational icon. She left in 1987, yet her name still tops most beloved lists. Her philanthropic work still glowing, her business ventures still active. It's the hook that loyalty in storytelling can turn into legacy. Even when actors step back, their roles never leave. Meanwhile, a new generation took hold. Charlene Tilton, born in 1958, was just 19 when she lit up screens as Lucy Ewing. Teen rebellion, vulnerability, early independence. Her charisma gave viewers someone young to root for. Tilton's pivot into singing showed her versatility, and now at 66, she remains active, reminding us that youthful roles can lead to lifelong presence in entertainment. The emotional pull here? The sweeping arc from teenage stardom to mature self-expression. Steve Canale's character, Ray Krebs, arrived in 1978 at age 31, bringing dignity and blue-collar grit to Ramsey Ranch hands. His authenticity grounded Dallas in real emotion and renewed regional popularity. Today, at 78, he still surfaces at fan events, bridging past and present with that calm, endearing resonance. Then we meet Susan Howard, born in Texas in 1944. At 34, she arrived as Donna Culver Krebs, smart, politically savvy, heartened by romantic and moral complexity. Her quiet exit in the 90s led to a quiet life outside the spotlight. But her presence remains important, proof that diplomacy and grace can save a soap from becoming one note. And how could we forget Priscilla Presley? Born in New York in 1945, she joined Dallas in 1983 at 38, playing Jenna Wade, entwined with Bobby Ewing's world. But her story didn't begin or end there. She built her own legacy, stewarded Elvis's estate, launched businesses. In 2025, at 80, she lives at the intersection of stardom and entrepreneurship. This plot twist reminds us, the stories we see aren't always everything. Lastly, there's April Stevens, played by Cherie J. Wilson. Born 1958, she joined in 1986 at 27, adding ambition and conflict that mirrored Dallas's thematic arcs. Her presence shifted power dynamics, reshaping fan allegiances and narrative arcs. Her quiet retirement from acting in the 90s marked the end of an era, but the shockwaves of her role still influence modern character weaving. Here's something to ponder. When these actors left, few expected Dallas's afterlife to stretch into 3 reunion runs: conventions, podcasts, ancestry shows, and ever-renewing public love. Patrick Duffy, especially, is living proof. He returned to Dallas in 2012, celebrated on stage by castmates at 90s conventions, and even filmed a genealogy series in Ireland in 2022, emphasizing that connection to identity never stops evolving. There's also the darker side of digital fame. Duffy was mistakenly declared dead in June 2025 in a viral hoax, spreading fear online before being firmly debunked. That incident alone shows how much we still care, and how quick rumors can strike when icons persist. As the tangled narrative of Dallas grew richer in its later years, new faces emerged, each carrying their own weight in the ever-expanding drama of the Ewing dynasty. Cherie J. Wilson arrived as April Stevens in 1986, stepping into a storyline already boiling with rivalries and romantic chaos. Her character wasn't just a love interest, she was a calculated force in the Ewing empire, often underestimated but never irrelevant. Before Dallas, Cherie had built a solid resume in both film and television, but it was this role that catapulted her into the mainstream. Today, at 66, she remains a respected figure in Hollywood, with credits in action-packed series like Walker, Texas Ranger, and several independent productions under her belt. She also took a quieter turn behind the camera, producing smaller projects, yet her name still evokes strong memories for longtime fans. There's something hauntingly nostalgic about seeing the young April Stevens on screen, unaware of the fate that would one day shock millions of viewers. Deborah Trinelli's entrance into Dallas was less explosive, but no less impactful. Portraying Phyllis Wapner, JR's sharp and ever-loyal secretary, she embodied the everyday gears turning behind Ewing Oil's massive machine. What made Phyllis memorable wasn't flashy story arcs or grand betrayals. It was the subtle power she held, the quiet knowledge of everyone's secrets. Trinelli's career outside the show included consistent television work and voice acting, giving her a versatility that extended beyond just one role. Now 68, she's still involved in the creative arts, particularly in music and occasional screen roles. There's a quiet dignity in how she maintained her career, never chasing stardom, but leaving a lasting impression just the same. In 1987, Jack Scalia joined the ensemble, bringing with him the charm of a seasoned model-turned-actor. As Nicholas Pearce, he offered Sue Ellen a romantic escape from the storm that was JR, until fate turned cruel. His time on Dallas was short, but impactful, ending with a scene that fans still recall as one of the show's most shocking moments. Off-screen, Scalia maintained a career that spanned decades, appearing in dramas, thrillers, and more recently, lending his influence to charitable causes. Another youthful presence arrived in 1988, when Joshua Harris began portraying Christopher Ewing. As the adopted son of Bobby and Pam, his story added emotional complexity to the already heavy family dynamics. Harris brought a sincerity to the role that resonated deeply with audiences, even at a young age. While he continued to act for a short time, he gradually transitioned into sports broadcasting and business. Today, at 51, he's largely stepped away from the limelight, but his contributions to Dallas are still recognized by longtime fans. It's almost poetic how someone who played a child caught in adult chaos would grow into a man focused on stability and purpose. Leslie Ann Down, born in London but destined for American screens, joined Dallas as Stephanie Rogers, a character steeped in ambition and mystery. Her presence added a new dynamic, particularly as her romantic entanglements blurred the lines between business and personal motives. Before Dallas, Down was already well established thanks to roles in The Pink Panther Strikes Again and North and South, bringing an international flair to the cast. At 71, she continues to embrace opportunities in film and television, balancing her legacy with a grace that many in the industry admire. Her portrayal of Stephanie remains a favorite among fans who appreciated the show's more intricate power plays. While some of the original cast members have passed on, the ensemble that remained continued to carry the torch of Dallas's legacy into the 21st century. Their performances didn't just entertain, they captured the spirit of a generation glued to their screens every Friday night. And as the years passed, the reunion specials, interviews, and fan conventions became more than just nostalgia. They became a tribute to the cultural force this show once was. Among them, one star in particular exemplifies the high-stakes world of fame, fortune, and smart financial moves. Patrick Duffy, who played Bobby Ewing, not only became a fan favorite for his on-screen charm, but also crafted a real-life portfolio that mirrored his TV persona's stability. Throughout his career, Duffy invested in real estate, owning properties in Oregon, Los Angeles, and rural Montana. His collection of luxury cars reportedly included a 1965 Mustang and several electric models in recent years. Though not known for flamboyant watches, he's been spotted with classic timepieces from Omega and Tag Heuer. He has avoided extravagant public spending, instead building value through acting royalties, production investments, and a sustainable art business with his late wife. He also holds multiple insurance policies protecting his estate, career residuals, and family trust. Duffy's career is a masterclass in long-term planning and financial discipline in an industry known for excess. His enduring appeal and balanced lifestyle offer a roadmap for younger actors navigating the unpredictable tides of Hollywood fame. As we look back at the world Dallas created, it's clear that the series was more than just television. It was a cultural moment, an emotional mirror held up to its audience every week. It gave viewers glamour and heartbreak, power plays, and fragile humanity, all in one dizzying, addictive package. And even now, decades later,